everyone, and good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name remains Kende Ruth Onoshaga, also known as KRO, and I am presently the principal consultant at Pandora Global Agency Limited, a strategic marketing and communications firm based out of Lagos, Nigeria. For the last couple of weeks now, I believe today is day 13, we've been diving into marketing best practices, tips, and ways to effectively as well as efficiently enhance your marketing efforts within your business. So this particular series is geared towards business owners that are looking to do marketing right, really. So today's day 13, like I mentioned, and yesterday I'm just going to do a recap. We actually touched on target audience. So what is the target audience? How can I identify my target audience? And how can I begin, in properly identifying who I'm speaking to with regards to my business? And we actually created a bit of a scenario with regards to that. We highlighted luxury shoe stores, and we pretty much identified ways in which a luxury shoe seller can adequately find their target audience and start off from there. One thing I mentioned that I hope that resonated in our yesterday's video was touching on the fact that you start tiny. So start small when you identify your target audience, and gradually, based upon the analysis as well as the reports that you receive on a weekly basis. I mentioned a 7-day reporting period, 14-day, and a monthly reporting period. You can expand your target audience reach as the case may be. All right, so today's a bit different. That's because we received a number of inquiries with regards to marketing related questions that business owners would like to get clarity on. So please, if you do have questions with regards to your marketing efforts, you can shoot in your questions, send it to us, or drop it in the comment section, and a member of the team will definitely get that across to me. Or you can just send your questions to hello@pandoraagency.co, and or your marketing briefs if you have any. We'll be more than happy to take on that particular challenge for you and see that your business actually grows exceedingly well within marketing niche. All right, back to the Q&A. So we're going to be addressing quite a number of questions today. There are quite a number of questions that we're sent in. And all of these are marketing related questions. We'll be sharing a couple of stories as well as a couple of tips, pointers in which these business owners can effectively execute their marketing objectives based upon the questions that they've sent. All right, so we're going to start with the first question, which is, how do I reach more people by directing my messages to the right audience? I believe this touches on the topic that we shared yesterday, which was, what is a target audience? And it's as simple as saying that, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to as a business owner? Where can they be found? Are your product aspirational? So is it something that they may aspire to own it, but they cannot really afford it right now? Because when you're also looking at your target audience, they're going to be the aspirational bits. So those that can actually, especially if you are selling a very affluential product. So back to the question, how do I reach more people by directing my messages to the right audience? By reaching more people, you want to touch on avenues that would ensure that you get a broader reach of people. And I believe that's where advertising meets marketing, right? So in ensuring that you speak to the core of your audience needs, you first of all need to identify who your audience are, identify what their needs are with regards to the product and service that you actually produce, or the service that you offer as a business. Once you've identified that, then you can actually proceed by way of different formats, really. And I believe video creation, which is an aspect of content marketing, plays a key role into this. So what is your messaging? What are you trying to communicate to your target audience? I'm going to go back to the sample I gave yesterday with regards to luxury shoe sellers. For an affluential product like that, you want to ensure that you want to mention Accessibility, you want to mention authenticity in terms of certifications from any of these luxury brands, that you actually own certificates of these luxury brands, because if you're a luxury shoe seller, most likely you are definitely going to be getting certificates from these designers to show that this is actually an authentic product. You want to hammer on that fact. You want to display your wares, right? Using video, using graphics in a very crisp, clear, and concise manner that resonates with your brand archetype. So that means your logo is clearly seen, it's not blurry, it's not overstretched, it's the right dimension. You want to ensure the background is crisp, it's clear, even if it's dark, it's something that speaks to luxury, right? That's how your messages would get to the core of your target audience. Not everybody understands that, but those that understand luxury understand simplicity is key when speaking to luxury. An example of this is when we actually took on a client's brief within the lifestyle space, and this client sold products in the millions, right? So they wanted working customers, and one way that we could get into working customers was, number one, getting the right working customers that could actually pay for their product was, number one, a revamp of their brand identity. So we did a complete brand development revamp for them, which was reflected in terms of their offline aesthetics as well. So they had posts or signboards or signages that reflected their new identity, very clean, very clear. The colors used definitely resonated with luxury as well. The font used definitely resonated with luxury as well. And their working stores are within spaces within Lagos as a state that it's very affluential, right? I'm talking about the Ikoyi, I'm talking about Lekki, I'm talking about, Victoria Island. Those were the places where their stores were. So what we did for them in terms of getting this, all this marketing efforts, the brand development part of things that we revamped, the new aesthetics, the cleanliness of their store, the revamp of their store as well, how we actually had that communicated through advertising materials, was to ensure that we selected the platforms that the target audience would be mostly on. It was really that simple. We identified that TikTok was good, but was not for their target audience because, again, their products are sold in the millions. They will be there, but a fraction of them. Snapchat was a great tool, so we leveraged Snapchat as a platform, and we definitely saw success conversions from that. Facebook, yes, because again, a much older generation that could easily afford these products and that actually been sold. So they got foot traffic from Snapchat, got foot traffic from Facebook, got good foot traffic from Google as well. And how did we measure it? It was very simple. It was to ensure that you include, most of these platforms have, case in point is Google AdWords. You can easily track the number of people that would visit a store or any of the stores through the map, right? Most times these people would actually want to Google the store to find out, okay, where exactly are you and where can I go to if I'm in close proximity to maybe the VI store, I want to go to the VI store. If I'm in close proximity to, I want to go to the Legacy store. So things of that nature, that's how we were able to effectively measure the performance for that particular client. And another way is to ensure that your customer service report is also on par, right? Working customers, that experience, that luxury experience of taking them through the store, what they're about to purchase, the history around it, and also infusing a bit of, KYC in that narrative or in that interaction with the customer. Oh, where did you hear about us? Okay, so we referred you, things of that nature, because that would start giving you ideas on how to maybe reward customers that are, spreading the word, of your brand to other people. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because there's a lot more to say there. So I'm going to move on to the next question. So how do I maintain customer relationships? I like this question because this question balls on one of the video sessions we've had sometime this week, and that's dwelled on brand promise, right? A brand promise is it's not a word that's so vague or so big. It's really why are you in the business that you're in? What can your customers hold you accountable to? So what is that promise you're making to your customers that you're willing to be held accountable to? And I gave the example a couple of videos back of Amazon being a customer-centric brand, right? Also, a classic example is Pandora Agency being, our tagline is very simple, where measurable marketing drives creativity. So that means we measure every of our marketing efforts. Right? That's our brand promise to our customers. Our customers would always expect that we measure, always expect that we come from an angle, the solutionist perspective of measuring the performance of everything that we do for them and getting that report fully analyzed and sent to them. That's our brand promise. Now, in maintaining your customer relationship, you want to ensure that they enjoy every single interaction with your brand. And it's as simple as understanding why you're in business and for what purpose are you in business. Use that in creating your brand promise. For a tailoring service, a fashion outlet, or an e-commerce store, it's as simple as saying that you get your orders delivered within 24 hours and ensuring that you stick within that 24 hours timeline. And that's not negating the fact that there can be some human factors or environmental factors that you may not be able to tell or predict, right? And that's where effective communication comes through. It's really that simple. People would be very forgiving when you do communicate with them or to them and communicate on time, right? That way they can easily trust that, oh, yes, you have their best interest at hand or at heart, as the case may be. So, maintaining customer relationship, provide efficiency of service, ensure that you personalize the service you provide to them. If a client comes to us and they want personal branding services, and maybe peradventure they could not adopt any of our services, we'll ensure that our newsletters are skewed towards sending them messages about personal branding services, as well as some other services in line with that, about perception building. So personalization of service is very important. Smooth onboarding process. I know we don't talk about this enough, but it's equally important. How successful or how effortless is your onboarding process is very, very important. If a customer, if I'm looking to adopt a new service and I'm getting the process actually adoption is taking forever, 1, 2, it's not as smooth. I would most likely have a rethink in terms of coming back to that same brand. So all this effort really, and I always say this to business owners, take yourself out of the equation and think like your customers and go through that lifetime journey like your customers. The onboarding process, first of all, the discovery process, the onboarding process, the attraction process, the adoption process. Very, very important. Once you've tied this in, once you've perfected this in some way, I believe your customers would want to always stick with you. I have quite a number of brands I've stuck with for years. I'm not a client that's always fleeting, especially if I see competitors. I really don't care. As long as the customer actually provides me the best of service, I'll stay with them. All right, so that's question 2. Quite a number of questions to go through here. So let's go through another one. So the third question is, I think I'm going to stop at the third question. So make sure this is, it is not too long. The video is not too long, as well as, drives home the point. The third question is social media that is more effective for promoting my business. Okay, that's a very open-ended question, and that's because it's highly dependent on what you do as a business. Very highly dependent on what you do as a business. I just give an example of a client's case study within the luxury lifestyle space, and the platforms that we had to discover that actually worked for them, because prior to that, they were doing everything right. And we discovered that the platforms they actually thought was converting the most was actually not as converted. TikTok was one of them, right? It was a popular platform, but those with the earning power that can actually make a purchase of the cost of goods that they actually sold were not on that platform, right? So we had to pretty much understand that within the first couple of months, I think within the first 2 months really, of onboarding them as clients. So social media, you have to, first of all, what services do you offer? Where are your target audience? Where do they usually go to receive communication, to digest information? Where do they go to? A large chunk of people would usually, especially if they're newly looking to adopt a service, they would usually want to Google a brand. So Google is actually a platform. It's not a social media platform, but it is an advertising platform, that can equally be leveraged. So that would mean that even as a business, you want to set up a business profile account using Google. which again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I see a lot of businesses shying away from that. You should not, because that's a great tool. It's a resource that is free in one. Two, it is owned by the world's largest search engine. So it's a win-win. You just have to be consistent on the platform. So again, it all depends on what you do. So for social, I know Twitter is equally a great platform to leverage, which is X now. So X as a tool is great for awareness building, especially as a B2B service provider, business to business, yes, service provider. Twitter is a great platform for awareness creation, right? It will most likely not convert. About conversion rate will be probably about 5% or less. But in terms of building awareness, you can look at an upward trajectory of 80% to 85% for sure. Especially if you have like a redirect page, so it takes them through a landing page, takes them through an entire funnel process. You also want to look at Facebook. Facebook remains, an equally great social media platform, pretty much pioneering that space. And it's one that you have a lot of people that some are not as effective. So for me, I would say Facebook is a 50-50 chance. Again, depends on what you do. For an e-commerce brand, I believe Facebook is always going to be a conversion platform. E-commerce, any of the meta platforms actually, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, very good in terms of for e-commerce businesses, as well as businesses within the business, majorly within the business consumer space. LinkedIn remains a very standout brand, and that's because it's geared towards professionals. But you have to be equally careful, because professionals are there for one thing, to spy on each other's pages. Really, they don't do much there, to update their CV, to find jobs. So they're there for one thing, So if you're running ads, it has to be something that resonates with either the position of the person. What does that mean? It means that if you're selling a supply chain software, a SaaS product, right, and you can definitely use LinkedIn, because then you can carefully target the supply chain community on LinkedIn, and they're very interactive. You can join their groups there, and begin your sales conversion journey from there. Most of these platforms are measured. They take time to convert. It takes consistency to convert, but above all, it takes very good aesthetics. I know this is something that a lot of fellow marketers don't touch on, but it's great. Aesthetics is the reason why your eyes would actually stick to something and look at it and study for a while, right? And not be distracted by the other distraction factors. So it's very important that what you design is aesthetically pleasing. What you actually showcase is something that is clean, it's not blurry, it's clear, it's crisp. All right, very good imaging, very good content placement. Font size is accurate, it's not too small. You pretty much do the 5 seconds glance test. If you cannot read the information that you're putting out within 3 seconds, I would say, actually 3 seconds or less, you may need to revisit that design. So I'm going to stop here with regards to the Q&A being sent by you guys on marketing related questions. And I'm going to, come back tomorrow and would finish off on that note. So thank you so much for joining. I hope all that I've shared has been of great value to you. I have quite a number of questions to go through, so I'll definitely jump back on this tomorrow.